Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. We are a smidge over a month away from the NFL draft. And boy, at least since the last time I've been on, a couple things have happened. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about everything. Let's jump right into it. Shane, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Do the Titans have a miracle left in them in what has been a magical season to this point? Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Pitches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson.
He's got something.
30,
He's
40,
got something.
50.
He's got it.
40.
He's got it.
20. 10.
He's got it.
End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. Sick! It's going to be sick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans, joined always by my counterpart, Jarett. Jarett, how we doing today, brother?
What's up, buddy? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, and the schedules are
Good.
pretty crazy between Vinny and the baby. You at work, me with baseball starting, so we're all here every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Little crazy at work, but for a good reason. So I can't complain too much. But obviously, I'm happy to be back today. I don't know exactly, Jarett. Refresh my memory. Were any of the signings done when you guys were on last week, you and Vin, or is it?
Everything kicked off last week. I think we went on Thursday night, and everything we basically got Tuesday, Wednesday. So we had a plethora of guys we talked about last week. Tuesday, Wednesday, the signings were happening, and then we went on Thursday night to talk about everything. But the biggest, obviously, signing was Dan Moore Jr., left tackle from Pittsburgh. Signed him to a ginormous 4 years, $86 million. Let up a lot of pressures and sacks last year, but supposedly, he's been quiet, but quietly good, leading up with 13 sacks. I know it's a lot, but obviously Bill Callahan saw a lot in him to bring him in and to bump JC over to right. And then obviously you sign Kevin Zeitler, former All-Pro. You have the guard from the Lions right next to JC. So, I mean, they're beefing up the offensive line. They also added another guy from the Browns. I forgot his name. I don't know, but he another guy that worked with the Bill Callahan. So they're beefing up the offensive line, in which it looks like we're going to go after the franchise quarterback, whether it be Sanders or Ward. I'm back and forth on this because you're hearing a lot of rumors now, getting closer to the draft. I'm just saying, you're hearing a lot of rumors now with Mel Kiper Jr. saying he's methodical, he has the accuracy. Then you heard what Brian Callahan said, going into Mobile, saying he reminds him a lot of Joe Burrow with accuracy. So it's like a mind game. I don't know, but it's Cam Moore all the way. So I think they're gearing up for that pick at one. I
mean, listen. Here's the deal. The Dan Moore signing, I'm nervous about. But obviously there's an opportunity there because he's young for some longevity. I mean, it's going to have to be longevity. We sign him long-term. Love the guard signing from Detroit. Even though he's old, everyone and their mother says he's solid. I think he's a 90 on PFF or something. So that's obviously good, at least for the short term. But I think the most telling signing of all is this Brandon Allen signing. I mean, I don't know how you sign Brandon Allen if you expect to keep Will Levis. It doesn't make any sense. Enlighten me if you think differently.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. Now that the rumors are out there today with, they're actively, what was the actual, the verbiage that they used? They said that they would like to transition. Yeah, no, it was from Josina Anderson. She said that the Titans would like to transition from Will Levis, and it's an unknown how much interest there will be from the league. But you know what? If we get a late round pick, not a 7, but if you can flip that for another 5th or a 6th, by all means take that. You flipped Murray for a 6th round draft pick. You got rid of your 7th. You gained the 6th. So they're moving up into the draft. So now they have what? I forgot how many picks, seven picks in the top 200, which is fantastic. But listen,
something like that.
For that signing with Brandon Allen, you got to think now, okay? He worked under Brian Callahan in the offense, right? Will Levis is going to be gone, whether shipped out or is going to be QB3. If they're bringing in the young guy like Cam Ward, he wants a guy that was in his system to possibly teach, Cam Ward, the tricks, if they're gonna draft him, because Mason Rudolph was another guy who was brand new with the system. Same thing with Will Levis. But if this is a guy that's going to be a plug and play and help Cam Ward, be the mastermind of this offense, I'm all about that signing.
Yeah, I mean, my point of bringing that up is, in my mind, there's no universe that they're signing Brandon Allen unless they're pretty confident they're going to find a suitor for Will Levis. I mean, no matter what the amount is, I mean, what's the point of it? I mean, you got to assume Will Levis is probably going to be better than Brandon Allen on any given Sunday. But maybe you disagree. I think Brandon Allen has a career record of like 2-11. I mean, nothing jumps off the page where you're going to feel confident in a game that you're going to have to put him in. He's definitely not better than Mason Rudolph. So I don't understand the signing at all, to be honest. I think he, basically just waving the white flag if our option one at quarterback goes down, because Brandon Allen ain't winning anything. So I don't know what that means for Levis, but the reaction I got from it is they're not signing Brandon Allen unless they are very confident they have a suitor for Will Levis. And if they do, it is what it is. It's going to be unfortunate. Obviously, I'm all in on Cam Ward now. I have been for a month plus, so it'll be a bittersweet departure for Levis. But I'm going to go on the record again. I'm going to keep going on the record saying if this kid goes to a team that even has an iota of intelligence on how to fucking develop a quarterback, he's going to be at least a solid veteran. I really do believe that. I don't want to touch too much on him because it's pretty much over at this point. But, time will tell. I saw a lot more in Malik Willis than everyone did before he left, even though, I still was way off that train. And, look what he did in Green Bay with the little bit of help he had. So, obviously good riddance to Will Levis. And I don't mean that sarcastically. Hopefully, he finds somewhere and continues to progress in this league. But it's Cam Ward all the way. I think we know this. I mean, I almost think it's set in stone at this point.
Yeah.
You get the O-line help.
But billboard's just about up in Nashville, so.
I mean, geez Louise. But I'll tell you one thing, Jarrett, and I would have said this on the show last week if I was on. I mean, it's almost a lock. Not that they're going to do it, but that they should be taking receiver round 2. I would assume you're on board with that.
Definitely on board with that. But before even the draft starts, you need to sign one right now. And to me,
there's nothing.
They brought in Rob Moore or
Van Jefferson?
No, they signed Van Jefferson. But Rondell Moore or whatever, the wide receiver, who was it that came in?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, Rondell Moore, the former second-round pick. He's been hurt and injured like crazy. I don't want him. He was drafted by the Cardinals a couple of years ago. I don't want him. I don't want an injury-played wide receiver. If you want to go after somebody, go after like Amari Cooper, who's still out there. And then you still go after a wide receiver in round 2. Yes, I totally agree with you on that. Wide receiver is deep in this draft. But you can see as a trend, Sal, I talked to Vinny about this. There's a trend with the free agent signings that has been going on. 97% starts, 95% starts, 93% starts. Cody Barton, 95. Xavier Woods played 100 snaps last year for Carolina as a safety. Same thing with Dan Moore. These guys are reliable. They're dependable. Just another thing, just get your take on that. Stonehouse, another guy. They just let go, young guy, and they bring in Johnny Heckler. Obviously worked with John Fossil. Maybe it's more special teams where Ryan Stonehouse was just booming the ball down the field instead of placing it. And now John Fossil sees that, saw the mistakes that we made last year. They wanted to bring in a proven veteran who he's worked with before, and they can, maybe position the ball where they want with more hang time to get our guys down there. I don't know, but, you have to agree with a former, in my opinion, a former Hall of Fame coach is going to do. No?
Yeah, I mean, I said on Twitter pretty quickly after the news broke about Stonehouse departing, and I think a lot of people had some smoke and mirrors, some blinders on about his talent. One of the better legs in the league as far as, strength of leg as a punter, but as a place kicker, he was pretty mediocre. A lot of touchbacks from really good spots that shouldn't be touchbacks. And obviously, I think he lost a little bit of his flame after that gruesome injury that, Mike Vrabel pretty much threw him in the fire for the get because, he just kept letting our special teams be a laughing stock. But that's a conversation for another day. Or no, that was Vrabel's last year, right? That Stonehouse got fucking decapitated. Yeah. So, I don't feel any type of way about Stonehouse leaving. Obviously, this guy that they brought in, another older guy, but very reputable, very solid. I don't think he's going to cost us any games, which is obviously important. But like I said, Jarrett, and I tweeted it earlier, it's just the moves we've made so far are so pedestrian. They're so lackadaisical. They're just so we don't give a shit.
Well, not even that. It's not even that. This whole free agency class has been not good. I mean, look at the wide receivers. The best wide receiver out there was T. Higgins, and you weren't coming near him.
But Jarrett, I mean, who just got Deebo Samuel for a 5th round pick?
Well, I mean that's trade, but we don't have those assets to trade because
a 5th round pick. Come on, Jarrett. We should have done that. We would Cam Ward throwing a Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, and a nice young receiver in the 2nd round. That would have been incredible for a 5th round pick. That's a no-brainer. We didn't do shit. We could have figured. We could have at least called up Seattle, threw our hat in the ring. Listen, I know our assets are small, but at the end of the day, and I'm sorry if I cut you off, it's we've done so little with our draft picks over the past decade.
I know.
I don't know why everyone is so hell-bent on making sure we have as many picks as we can. Now, I hope this regime does a lot better than the last 2. Don't get me wrong. But I'm more leaning towards now, at least for the foreseeable future, maybe we put more money into people we know are going to be good rather than, these C- level free agents. I mean, the saying goes, scared money don't make money, Jarrett. And every now and then this team makes a little splash, not more than one usually, on a player, free agent, trade, etc. Typically doesn't work out. I think we need to up the ante a little bit and maybe get someone a little younger that might cost a little more. But, at the end of the day, we don't have fucking anyone to catch the ball outside of Calvin Ridley. That's it.
And Van Jefferson, that Van Jefferson signing versus NWI, just letting him walk. I don't understand that whole process. I mean, NWI was reliable, caught 9 touchdowns, but Van Jefferson, I mean, what is that? That's just like a wide receiver 3-4. We need difference makers in this passing game. And Chig, you guys can crucify me all you want. Chig and Wiley, they're not difference makers right now. Chig hasn't been difference maker in 2 years. We lack tight end. So, like I said, if wide receiver is not there, like Mjigba or anybody's not there in 2, and Colston Loveland's sitting there in the 2nd round, by all means, I'm jumping on it. Because you need a big tight end who can make plays, and these guys are not difference makers like a Delaney Walker or an AJ Brown. And Calvin Ridley's on the fringe of wide receiver 1 too, because right now, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel about it, but in my opinion, I see him as like a fringe wide receiver 1. I'm going wide receiver 2. We need
the dude had 1,000 yards with Levis and Mason Rudolph.
And some of them were garbage. Some of them are garbage yards, but we need a difference maker, though. We had it. Yeah. We need to find it again.
Well, we can't. Yeah, but the one thing I'll say is you can't establish whether or not you have a difference maker receiver unless you have competent quarterback play, competent pass rush, which arguably we did not have for almost the entire year. So, is Calvin Ridley starting to get up in age now? Like, what's he going to be this year? 32 by the end of the year? Something like that, 31, 32. So in that regard, yeah, you got a case to make like, hey, this is our number 1 guy, another year older. But I feel good about Calvin Ridley with Cam Ward. I really do. I think they'll have a connection pretty quickly. Calvin obviously still has next level acceleration, which I think will benefit Cam tremendously. So I'd love to see that connection, start to blossom if that's the way we go. But there's Van Jefferson is not an answer. NWI is gone, which I couldn't care less. You know how I feel about him. Good, but not a guy that you're like desperately needing on a Super Bowl roster. Is he a terrible receiver for a 3rd option? No, not at all. But the bottom line is that we need somebody immediately that's going to be not only a solid number 2, but we need someone to build around as a young talent at receiver. We've had one guy that we let go in 20 years at that position that we've built from the ground, that we've gotten through our farm system, obviously meaning the draft. Outside of that, it's been an absolute nightmare. It's been Nate Washington. That's the guy to point to as far as big-time stat guys at the receiver position. And that's embarrassing. The guy played 15 years ago. So enough's enough now. Take the second-round pick. Pray to God the Ohio State kid is there, or Burton. Is that his name? Who's the other guy? Burton?
Yeah, Burton.
What school does he go to?
Missouri.
All right, you got to pray one of those guys are there, and then you're looking good. You're looking like you have a shot. But we'll see. We're almost a month away.
Yeah, it's tough to think that we don't have that going into the draft, because then you're gonna focus on how many picks to build, because literally who's our wide receivers? Bryce Oliver, Van Jefferson, Treylon Burks, who I'm out on, Calvin Ridley. I mean, those are the guys, and you're gonna insert a rookie over here, and you're gonna depend on that rookie. Yeah. I mean, Njigba, he could do it, but you still need, in my opinion, go trade for Tyreek Hill, go get Amari Cooper. Tyreek Hill at the end of the season said he wants out. He's done with that. Yeah, I don't know if I would want that Diggs, and I don't think Diggs would want to do that. I understand where you want the dynamic, but he's drama too much for a rookie wide receiver. Yeah, he can go somewhere else. But I could definitely do it, Amari Cooper, and definitely Tyreek Hill for sure, and pair that with.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options. Yeah, there's so many options. All you gotta do is pick up the phone. The worst they can do is say no. There's definitely. I'd love to know what Tyler Lockett's doing. Did he sign somewhere already? I'm not sure.
No,
but
he didn't sign either. Yes, he's another one. Yep.
I would take a look at him. I'm sure there's plenty of guys that are probably considered B- level receivers that are either on their last year. That, unless somebody called, they would never think about a trade. Just feel it out. There's got to be something planned. There's no way Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, and whoever we get in the draft is, what we're going with for our three. It's just, I would be very, especially when you're about to bring in a rookie quarterback. I mean, you did what you thought was the right thing to do as far as protection's concerned, and hopefully all the stars are going to line lead them at right, and the new guard and the new tackle. Got to give the guy some fucking things to throw to, right now we're talking about Calvin Ridley and Chigakonkwo, and that's it. And I don't care how patient that kid is in the pocket. You're going to need some more route runners in order to do well in this league. And right now they don't have it. So what do you think they're planning?
Give me Tyreek Hill. Give me Tyreek Hill. Listen, their plan is they're definitely going to go after somebody, because you can't go into the draft looking like this in the receiver room. I mean, the interleague knows what's going on, whether someone's going to get cut, post June. I don't know Tyreek's contract situation at all, but I know he wants out. That I would be on the phone with Miami to try to get him. I would be on the phone with Cooper, Tyler Lockett. He's good, but what are you going to do? A 1-year rental on him? I understand all that, but you need difference makers, and Tyreek and Ridley and a rookie, whether it be Njigba or Burton, that would be lethal with Cam Ward. It opened things up a little bit for Chig, where I just called him out. But maybe that opens him up a little bit more for the playmakers. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the good news is we still have a little time to figure that out. Draft's a little over a month away. So we'll see. You're right. You got to assume they're at least going to make a strong effort to bring somebody in before this draft.
That's definitely one. That edge they have to address before the draft. Okay, because if they get a solid guy, then they can, maneuver their way, up and down the draft. If their guy is falling, or if they want that guy desperately, they can go up and get him. But the edge and wide receiver are the next two positions. I said it last week. I thought that they were going to sign a wide receiver last weekend. Didn't happen. I'm going to say the same thing going into this weekend. We need to address that wide receiver room very fast.
Yep, we do, and I trust. I really do. I trust this group. Outside, the only signing I have any kind of unsettled feeling on is the Dan Moore Other than that, the punter, that's what you had to do. You got a veteran, older but solid. The guard seems to be a great play, great guy to put in that mix. You put Latham to right, which I forgot. I was misinformed that he did play right tackle at Alabama. And he was a left tackle guy in high school. I had that flipped. I thought he played right tackle in high school, left at Alabama. So if that's going to improve his play and he's going to start being a top 10 pick on O-line, then this is great that these people are actually saying, you know what? We know what we needed to do. It might be unorthodox, but okay, yeah, like Latham needs to go to right. We got to get a left tackle. I don't think Vrabel or Carthon or anyone or Robinson would have had the guts to just say it. Like, you know what?
They're picking players and trying to put them in, positions that they really weren't familiar with. I mean, you try going, from right to left, from college to the NFL. I mean, it's drastic now. You're moving your footwork, you're moving your hands.
Against better opponents.
So if you're more comfortable and you played that for a couple of years in college, Bill Callahan understands it. Yeah. That's why they're doing it. Maybe Vrabel and the other front offenses were just stubborn. They're just saying we're picking the best available player. And yeah, he played it here. He could try it again over here.
Yeah. But you're right. We got to address pass rush immediately. The biggest two reasons why this team failed last year was we couldn't protect the quarterback and we could not pressure the quarterback. Obviously, a big line that Ben likes to use. Those are the two biggest aspects of the game, and that proved it for him tremendously because we were the worst team in the league and we couldn't do either. So, it seems they're doing the best they can to protect whoever's going to be back there, at least another attempt. This will be now attempt 3 to get a, competent O-line. Forget about an average or above average. And hopefully they get it right this time. And then receiver, even if they did bring in Tyreek Hill, or any kind of caliber guy like that, they got to go receiver round 2 because that's essentially a first-round pick. It's a glorified first-round pick. It should be a talent that you can keep there 5+ years. And God willing, if these people can scout properly, this will be another pillar of the new team we're moving into the new stadium with. This will be the receiver that we build around, and he's here for 7-8 years. So we'll see how that all turns out. But all in all, I have no reason to judge the office about their moves until, the fruits of the labor start to show. And obviously it's going to be on Sunday. So we'll see how that shapes up. But obviously, Chad, I think we're going to close out for today. A nice little show there we gave you guys talking about everything. And I'm sure as the weeks, go on, as Jarett mentioned, if they have some sort of play in there for a receiver, we're going to know before the draft. So that'll be in the next couple of weeks. So obviously anything that comes up, we'll make sure to give you our thoughts on immediately. So as always, guys, make sure you're commenting, subscribing to the channel. Every subscription helps us tremendously. We want to give you the best content each and every week, and all your help is going to help us do that. So anything you want to add, Jarett, before we wrap up for today?
Nothing, man. Just hopefully next time we're on the show, we can actually talk about it. Yeah, I know. Next time we talk about that next show, we get a wide receiver or an edge signing because, listen, it's desperate, and that's 2 positions we need to win in this league.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. No way around it. And we fumbled the bag on one of the sides of the ball. Now it's a Super Bowl champ, and we're never going to have that image out of our head, which is unfortunate. But all right, chat. Ooh, haven't done that in a while. Drop the old work chat on you guys. But all right, guys, appreciate everyone for joining today. Hope everyone has a tremendous rest of their week, and we'll catch you on the flip. As always, tighten up, and Shane, you can send us on out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.